Are you thinking about moving to Northern Virginia? You've likely heard a lot of great things about the area. Northern Virginia is known for its world-class education, career opportunities, and reputation as a family-friendly area. And most people who move here find plenty to love about it. But some people, surprisingly, regret their decision once they're here. In today's video, we're going over the reasons why Northern Virginia might not be the right fit for everyone. Before we go any further, I'm Crystal Walker with Ask a Walker, providing answers to all your questions about where to live in Northern Virginia. If you're considering relocating and want expert advice on the area, click the link in the description to schedule your perfect home consultation. All right, so let's jump right in. First up, let's dive into one of the biggest reasons people experience regret after moving to Northern Virginia, the high cost of living. It's one of the priciest areas in the country, largely because of its proximity to Washington, D.C. This high cost can come as a shock, especially for people moving from more affordable cities. Let's start with housing costs, since this is typically the most significant expense for newcomers. The average home price in Northern Virginia hovers around $840,000, and that's just the average. If you're looking for a single-family home in desirable areas like Arlington or McLean, you're looking at spending well over $1 million. Now, this difference can be staggering for someone moving from a city like, let's say, Dallas, where you can buy a spacious home for around $400,000. With a $400,000 budget, your options here are quite limited. In many parts of Northern Virginia, a $400,000 budget will get you a small condo with maybe 1 to 2 bedrooms if you're aiming to stay within 30 to 45 minutes of DC. So if you're looking for a 3-bedroom single-family home, you'd need to adjust your budget accordingly. For properties within a reasonable commute, you're realistically looking at spending around $800,000 or more. If you're willing to live a little bit farther out, say Prince William County, in the southernmost part of the region, you'll be able to find a detached home in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. Just keep in mind that this could add significant time to your daily commute. Most of the areas around Northern Virginia consist primarily of townhouses, and with the $600,000 to $800,000 budget, you'll find various options throughout the region. Property taxes add another layer to the expense. Northern Virginia has some of the highest property tax rates in the state, which means that even after purchasing a home, your monthly expenses will be higher than you might expect. For some, these taxes can add hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per year to your annual expenses, so keep that in mind if you're on a tight budget. But the high cost of living doesn't stop at housing. Some everyday expenses like childcare are more expensive here than in many other regions. If you have children, you'll definitely want to consider these costs. Full-time daycare for a young child can easily cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a month. And if you have more than one child in daycare, these expenses can get out of hand quickly. For those moving from a less expensive area, this can be a big adjustment and could mean restructuring your family's budget to account for these additional costs. Even if you're relocating for a well-paying job, make sure your salary increase is enough to cover the higher cost of living, or you may feel like you've taken a step back financially. Traffic congestion is one of the most frustrating aspects of living in Northern Virginia. It's not just about heavy traffic, it's the way it affects nearly every part of your daily life, from commuting to work to running errands or planning fun weekend activities. The Beltway, Highways 66, 95, and 495, is known for severe congestion, especially during peak hours. The traffic here is so notorious that it's almost a defining characteristic of the area. So why is traffic such a problem? Well, first, Northern Virginia's roadways are dealing with massive volume of people commuting to and from DC, along with those folks working within Northern Virginia itself. The layout of the roads and the sheer number of drivers creates a daily bottleneck. The closer you get to DC, the worse the congestion gets, with even local routes feeling the pressure as drivers look for alternate ways so they can avoid the highways. On top of the typical congestion, frequent construction can also add to the delays. A drive that should take 30 minutes can easily stretch into nearly an hour, if not more. It's not uncommon for people to experience delays of 30 minutes or more on a regular basis, which quickly adds up to hours lost in traffic every week. For those looking to bypass the worst of traffic, there are toll roads, but they literally come at a price. Northern Virginia has several toll roads like 495 express lanes and the Dulles Toll Road that offer faster options. And while these tolls can save time, they can also take a serious toll on your wallet. For example, the express lanes on 495 and 66 use dynamic pricing, which means that the toll rates increase based on demand. During rush hour, these tolls can be extremely expensive. It's not unusual to see the toll roads on 495 express lanes hitting $20 or more just for one trip, depending on the distance. If you're someone who dreads driving in heavy traffic, this could be a deal breaker. The good news is that the metro system has expanded and could be a good option if you're close to a station. But if you're driving, be prepared for stop-and-go traffic, even on the weekends. Another reason some people regret moving to Northern Virginia is the limited sense of community. While Northern Virginia offers plenty of career opportunities and a high quality of life, the social landscape can feel challenging, especially for newcomers trying to settle in and build connections. One major factor is that Northern Virginia is a very transient area. Many people move here for government, military, or contract roles, and these positions often involve short-term assignments. It's common for people to live in the area for just a few years before they relocate or choose to move elsewhere. This creates a constant flow of people coming and going, making it difficult to establish long-term friendships or feel a true sense of belonging. Just as you start getting to know someone, there's a chance they'll be packing up and heading on to their next assignment. This lack of stability in the social scene can feel isolating for newcomers. Unlike in less transient areas, it's rare to find people who have lived here for generations or have deep roots in the community. This means you may have to work a little bit harder to find lifelong friends or people who will be there for the long haul. The transient nature of the community can also impact the social atmosphere of the neighborhoods themselves. In areas where people are constantly moving in and out, there's often less focus on getting to know your neighbors. So for newcomers to Northern Virginia, it's important to be proactive. Building friendships might take some time, and finding a sense of community could require a little bit extra effort. Many people find success joining local groups, such as school PTAs, sports leagues, or other interest-based meetups. Another thing that can cause regret about moving to the area is homesickness. Many people move to Northern Virginia for career opportunities, not necessarily because they love the area. Moving for work can bring great financial rewards, but if you have strong ties back home, adjusting can be tough. Relocating from a place where you have family, friends, and a familiar lifestyle can make Northern Virginia feel isolating. One thing that many of the kids in the area have in common is that they don't have family nearby. They don't grow up going to their aunts and uncles' homes over the weekends. They don't get to know their cousins as well as previous generations may have. For example, I was so close to one of my cousins growing up that she was more like a sister. Meanwhile, my boys only see their cousins once or twice a year. Career-driven moves don't always come with a support network that makes settling in easy. This is definitely something worth considering if you have a family. Another reason for regret is simply not researching the area thoroughly before moving. Northern Virginia is huge. It's larger than the state of Rhode Island, and each area has its own unique vibe. Each county has its own school system, and different areas offer access to different amenities. Moving here without understanding where you'll best fit can lead to frustration. Some areas are quieter and more family-oriented, while others are more urban and career-focused. Take time to research or reach out to someone like our team here at Ask a Walker to give you insight into what each area offers. Doing this can save you a lot of regret down the line. Check out our videos on each county. We cover everything from the pros and cons to school reviews and property tours. We also have a few videos highlighting specific subdivisions. Northern Virginia's weather can be a mixed bag, and for some, it's another major adjustment. Spring brings a lot of rain and also intense pollen. If you have allergies, be prepared. The pollen here is so thick that you'll see cars covered with yellow dust. The DC area is home to a unique combination of plant species that lead to high levels of pollen nearly all year round. With the wide variety of trees, grasses, and weeds, the sheer volume and mix of pollen here can be overwhelming, especially for newcomers who aren't used to this blend. And after spring, we move on to summer. Summers are hot, humid, and packed full of bugs, particularly mosquitoes, which can make outdoor activities feel a little bit less pleasant. When my family relocated from New Orleans, we thought we were leaving those hot, muggy summers behind. Boy, were we wrong. Temperatures in July and August rival those of southeastern Louisiana. We saw more triple-digit days last summer than I care to remember. Then there's winter. While it's not as cold as some northern states, it does get pretty bitter. And every few years, we get a really big snowstorm that just disrupts all of our daily routines. It only happens every few years, but it's a nuisance nonetheless. I almost think it would actually be better if it snowed more often. Then maybe we get used to it and locals will learn to drive in the snow. These seasonal extremes may be hard to handle if you're coming from a place with more mild, predictable weather. And then there's Northern Virginia's political atmosphere. Its proximity to DC means politics are front and center. Certain areas lean conservative, while others are more liberal, and this can create a politically charged atmosphere. This may or may not be a problem, but it's definitely something to be aware of. In recent years, people have become much more vocal about their political affiliations. This trend has played out not only on the national stage, but also at the local level, including in school board discussions. You may have seen the Loudoun County parent groups and school boards on the national news recently. If you're looking to avoid a politically intense environment, be mindful of this factor. While Northern Virginia has a lot to offer, it's essential to go in with open eyes. Moving here can be a fantastic decision for some, but a challenging adjustment for others. To learn more about life here, be sure to check out our other videos for detailed insights on neighborhoods, schools, and more. And if you're considering a move to the area and want help finding your next home, don't hesitate to reach out. Click the link in the description to schedule your perfect home consultation. We'll help you find the right neighborhood and home for you and your family. Thanks for watching. Until next time.